The Quella initiative is about teachers observing one another.
Collaboration. Teachers talking with each other about what improves student outcomes and student engagement, and teachers getting excited about applying that back to their own classroom.
The Quella Systems Leadership Project has given teachers a platform to improve their practice through collaboration and broaden their knowledge of pedagogical practices.
So it's just been such a privilege to come into another school setting and see how a different school runs programs, you know, especially with the iPads, I have to say, because they've just come to our school. I feel like just watching other teachers use that resource has really helped me to prepare for the implementation of iPads into our classroom.
I feel that Quella's real goal is to be able to grow, to help us as teachers grow, to help us as educators grow, and to help us then mentor our colleagues and the future generations of teachers. Today you're going to be working with your partner and you're going to get 5 chances. 5. Let's give all of our contestants a round of applause.
As a relatively new teacher to the education system, just seeing teachers at work and those experienced teachers delivering their content really gave me a big confidence boost as to how I could possibly modify and deliver my content as well. Going to a primary school from a high school setting, I thought was wondering how's that going to be beneficial. But going in and seeing the teaching strategies that teachers have implemented for the different needs of the students has been very beneficial. I feel that I'll be able to take back the different scaffolding methods that they've used and implement that into my work.
Teachers learn best from one another because they're the experts.
To have the opportunity to work across schools, very diverse in their community and their setting, it really allows teachers to, I guess, celebrate that diversity, learn about that diversity, but also look at the common elements that are, I guess, embedded in our daily practice.
We have got a real focus on connecting with our students and making sure that we look at a number of different modes in which we're connecting with our students through online learning, through the Moodle, also through Adobe Connect and synchronous lessons, through phone lessons, and also through face-to-face teaching. So it was important that our teachers were going out to see what was happening in face-to-face schools so that we could bring back practices from those schools to our schools, and also so that teachers in face-to-face schools have a chance to come and see that the really high evidence-based learning that we're doing here around the online learning and also through technology as well.
Well, the technology side of things was fantastic at Sydney Distance Ed, and the connected classrooms.
We know that it's the teacher that makes the difference. We know that classroom observations are probably the most effective professional practice that we can engage in, and this idea of deprivatising teaching, and the Quella initiative has allowed us to do that, and we've not only deprivatised teaching just within our school but across the profession as a whole.
We know that in relation to the School Excellence Framework, for example, that schools that are excelling are schools that have got really strong embedded practices for teachers to collaborate and to provide feedback for each other. And I think that's what Quella does.
I've really loved working with the teachers involved, and particularly we've got some early career teachers that I've been working with, and some of the upward mentoring that they've been doing of me, particularly around the energy that they have looking at their teaching through new eyes has been truly inspirational. It's the way that we've actually built that community of schools where teachers are getting to know each other, and I think thinking more as not just as an educator in New South Wales, but more like global educators, looking at what's actually happening overseas as well and what's actually working. So I think that that's really looking at that evidence-based practice rather than, oh, just give that a go, but looking at really good teaching practices that we know that work.
Teachers in Quella have been really willing to reflect on their own practice, to actually be open to sharing their classroom with their colleagues from other settings. And because they've built that trust and that sort of collegial relationship with their colleagues, have seen it as a really positive experience.
I think it's also been valuable for as a professional learning tool, just those teachers coming back and talking to the teachers in our school about what's happening out there and about the collaboration. And I think what's really important is that we are a community of schools, and it doesn't matter if you're down near the Shire and in the inner city, but we're all teachers and we're all here for the same reason, to actually try and support students to feel connected and to have success at school. So I think that that's been really good, because there's that common thing that we all do, and I think that realisation has been really empowering for all of the teachers involved.
My passion for leadership is because I want to see the best that I can for all students, and as a principal it means that instead of providing the best to my class that I possibly can, I now have the ability and the capacity to influence a whole school, and I think that's just the most exciting thing to do. I just love it.
A project like this can continue in the future, primarily because it's almost like the principals have distributed the leadership amongst the teachers that are involved in the teams.
I think the ability to firstly collaborate with each other across school settings has been really powerful. We know that it's the quality of the teaching that makes a difference to student outcomes, and if we can look beyond our own school setting at each other's practice, at the teaching standards, at the school excellence framework and elements of that, if we're able to collaborate across settings, I guess it gives us a stronger base to be able to bring those key elements for student improvement back to our own setting.
So I have to reflect on what I need to do to develop my leadership ability.
Okay. Well, I just found it to be a really excellent opportunity to connect with the greater professional community.
We have 3 work samples.
Programs such as Quella, a learning alliance of schools getting together to share best practice for their school and applying those ideas across other schools, is critical to move the education system forward.